Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It is Keith, you guys. I know it's been a while, but I'm going to try and start making more videos more often, I guess you could say. So, this video is about a gun I purchased July 16th of this year. And I went through a little over 800 rounds, and so now I feel I can talk about the performance and overall aspects of the gun. The gun we are talking about is a Taurus G2C. Now this gun is loaded because it's my carry gun. So this doesn't come like this, but I don't have the box, you guys, because I think we've all seen a box. The only thing you need to know is that it comes with two 12-round magazines, so that's pretty cool. Other than that, it's a box with some paperwork and I believe a cleaning brush, and yeah, that's about it. Sorry. So this gun came like that, like as you can see. Now, first and foremost, I got a great deal on this gun. I got it from a place called Combat Armory. If you guys don't know, there's a website that consolidates all the internet deals. It used to be called slickguns.com. Now it's called gun.deals.com, and that's where I always scrummage through their deals and whatnot. And so I saw this and I picked it up. I pulled the trigger on it. No pun intended, but I had to, you guys. This gun came at a great price, and I got this gun from Combat Armory for $169.99 with free shipping. So now you could find this gun hovering right over the $200 mark, maybe a little bit more, $215, but definitely under $250. You shouldn't pay $250 for this. You can get it cheaper. Anyways, back on track. This gun, as you can see, comes not like this. This was black. It was just all black. It comes with two 12-round steel magazines that do have a yellow follower, and this one is dirty, as you can see, but you can clean it up, I guess. But they're 12-round magazines, steel, with the witness marks, witness holes, and it does have the base plate for your pinky to get a good purchase on there. Now I have medium to large hands, you guys, but I have sausage fingers, and this fits rather well in my hand. This isn't a big gun at all. It is bigger than the Shield, but you guys, this gun has a great feel to it. And for the price, you guys, $169.99, 170 bucks, delivered to my FFL here in South Florida. I picked it up and paid the transfer fee. I believe it's $10. I think my buddy charges me just for the transfer fee, and walked out with it that day. Now, typically when I buy a firearm, you guys, I take in consideration the 800 to 1,000 rounds that I'm going to put through it on top of the price I paid for the firearm. So with all that considering, I was still saving a lot of money for a new gun perch. So I was happy, needless to say. Now, if you're wondering why there's this rattle can spray paint job on it, I did that, and there's a reason why. And I'll tell you right off the bat, this coating that comes from the factory sucks. It really does suck. And anyone who wants to test the durability and longevity of a coating, just send it to one of us guys down here in South Florida, because down here it's like a Foot Locker. It's humid all year round. Probably about a couple weeks out of the year it's not, but for the most part it is humid, and with the humidity you will see rust easily. Now this was no exception. This, after about a couple months, immediately started to show rust on the slide, on the finish, where it showed up in here and a little bit back here. Now what I did was I took it down a little bit, then I used some alcohol and wiped it down really well, and then I spray painted it. Yeah, I spray painted it. I'm not going to Cerakote a gun of this budget. It's just, I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that. It's a beater gun. So I spray painted OD green because I like OD green. And I just spray painted the slide. Yeah, it's wear and tear. It's a little bit worn off from holster use and from me racking the slide. But I can get that same can and touch it up when the need arises. So first off the bat, the only negative I have pretty much is the finish on the slide. Not the best. Now Taurus gets a bad rap because of the quality control that was in the past. Now, when this specific firearm launched, the manufacturing site in Brazil had fired their plant manager and a lot of their QA was let go. And with that brought in a new culture of quality and management that steered the company in a new direction. And this gun, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, has performed flawless. I've put just over 800 rounds through it, like I said, and there hasn't been one hiccup. Now, let's drop the mag so you guys don't think it is loaded. Empty chamber, good to go. Now, it has a 3.2 inch barrel, okay? And it is a polymer frame with a alloy or steel slide. The sights are plastic and they are not night sights at all. They supposedly have a luminescent paint. Yeah, not so much, but regardless, it's pretty good sight system. Some people do not like them. They think they're too low, but for me, I mean, it is what it is. So the sights are plastic, but they are adjustable for elevation and windage. So you can adjust them if you need to. Now, I did not need to adjust the sights. I picked it up, took it to the range, and started dumping rounds through it immediately. And there wasn't any adjustments needed on my end for me to put hits on target. The point of aim to point of impact for this little pistol is spot on. Now, these opinions that I'm giving you guys is based on mine that I have, okay? People out there might have problems with theirs. I'm giving you my 2 cents on my experience with this batch of 1. So, holds 12 rounds in the magazine, plus 1 in the chamber. You have a 12 plus 1 capacity. Right out the bat, that is very, very good in my opinion. It is slim, it's a slim profile, and it conceals rather well. This gun, you guys, just disappears, and it's not light. I mean, it's not heavy rather, but it's a good size pistol. Like I said, it fits my hand perfect, really well, especially with that pinky extension plate, floor plate on the magazine. Now, the stippling job is aggressive. You can see it has this sort of, I mean, the only thing I can compare it to is the M&P 2.0 series that just came out not too long ago. It's very aggressive, but effective. It's not too aggressive. I carry appendix, and I don't have a large belly, so it's not, I mean, it presses up against my body, but it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't scratch my skin up. You know, I'm not soft, I guess you could say. So it doesn't bother me, but some guys it might. A lot of people have put skateboard tape or Talon grips on there, the rubberized ones, to kind of soften it out, and that's user preference. For me, this works and it fits great, and that's how I like it. Now, the magazine magazine release eject is steel, and you can tell if it ejects or if it's a magazine release if you flip it upside down and you push it. If it pops up like that, that means that there's spring tension and it ejects. So it's a magazine eject, not a magazine release. It doesn't release a magazine, but it throws them out there, whether the magazine is loaded or empty. Magazines slide in and out fairly easy. It is not a flared magwell, and it has this back tab kind of extension on the bottom. I don't know, for some that may be help in aiding in putting the magazine, as they can just bump it up against the back of it and slide it in. That's pretty useful. If you're fumbling around, you just get it and sling it in. It does have a safety. It does have a thumb safety, external thumb safety on the slide. Now, is that a big issue to you? Maybe. I personally don't like external safeties, thumb safeties on my pistols, especially my carry pistols, but sub $200, you guys, I can live with it. You know what I do to combat that, not liking that much? I just don't use it. Don't use it. If you don't like it, don't use it. I don't use it. I just keep the safety off at all times for muscle memory. All my other pistols do not have that. Most of them, well, yeah, all my carry guns don't have them. So I don't use it. I keep my muscle memory fluent by not using it. So it does have that. Is that a deal breaker for you? I don't know. Maybe it is. For me, it's not. It's not a big deal. So it does have a external thumb safety. Now the slide stop / slide release is not ambidextrous, and the whole gun for that matter is not ambidextrous. So all you left-handed shooters, sorry, but it doesn't have ambidextrous features. Now the magazine eject, I believe, no, it can't be reversed. Sorry. So that could be one deal breaker for you if you're a left-handed shooter. Now, moving forward, there is a loaded chamber indicator when there is a round in the chamber. This chamber indicator will stick out just slightly, not a whole lot like your Rugers. Rugers have these huge loaded chamber indicators that really stick up there. This one, not so much. And that's okay, that's cool. If you decide to have this as your bedside home defense weapon, okay, that's all right. It does have a pick rail with one slot to mount your lasers, lights, ninjas, and chainsaws, if that's your thing. Me, not so much. But hey, the option is there, which is cool because most guns, some guns in this size and caliber don't offer that from the factory. So that's pretty cool to have. Now the trigger is long. It does have a blade safety mechanism, much like most modern striker fired pistols. Glocks and others alike have this drop safe blade that sticks on the trigger to where the trigger won't engage unless you depress that blade, and it goes all the way to the back. Speaking of trigger, okay, this trigger is long. Okay, it has a long trigger. At first, when I picked this up in the shop, I was looking at it, and that immediately I picked it up and was like, what, the gun is unloaded. But I was like, wow, that is a long trigger, and it isn't light at all. Now, if you think about it, you guys, this gun is aimed. What is this specific pistol marketed for, and who is this marketed for and to for the sales? This is Taurus's meeting the demand of the concealed carry market with this double stacked, thin profiled, striker fired 3.2 inch barrel 9mm concealed carry option. Who is it marketed to? People in that range looking for a concealed carry firearm, but also, in my opinion, new beginner shooters, especially those who are getting their concealed carry license and they want to purchase a firearm for self-defense, something that's reliable, but something that could fit their budget. Usually when people get their license, they don't want to go out and buy a $600 to $800 firearm and then, you know, getting some range time on that. Some people might, some people not so much. Some people just want to have a license and a firearm, and that's as far as they want to go in the community of the gun market. Want something for firearms. So this fits that bill. Why? Because this isn't a double action, single action, but it feels like it. This trigger has the double strike capabilities, which is a absolute pro in my opinion. That should be an option in every defense concealed carry pistol. Why? Because if you have that light primer strike, or if you have a malfunction, you can squeeze that trigger again quickly and send that round down range at the threat. That is a lot easier to people who aren't used to doing weapons tap, rack, squeeze, the methods of jams or malfunctions. Okay, their first instinct when they squeeze the trigger and it doesn't go bang, their first instinct statistically is to squeeze the trigger again. Okay, not like some seasoned lead slingers that will tap, rack, and squeeze again, right? That's a more advanced. So the beginner, their first reaction would be to squeeze the trigger again. Now this fits that bill because it has the double strike capabilities, which is awesome. That's a great option. Now let's go back to the trigger. The trigger, it is long. That first initial pull is long if you don't have a round in the chamber. Now when I carry this firearm, I have a round in the chamber. I load 2 magazines and I load a round in the chamber. And that first initial pull isn't as heavy. There's a little bit of take up and then it breaks. Now the reset on this is extremely short. Right there. Right there. That's the reset. That is a slick, pretty slick reset. That is in fact, that is a great reset. The first pull, okay, not so much. But in the defense scenario, when your blood's moving and the adrenaline is at its peak and you're Johnny on the spot, when you grab that hammer, when you grab that pistol and you pull that trigger, in the moment, this heavy trigger ain't gonna seem that heavy. You're gonna pull that thing with authority. Trust me. So, with that in mind, that's a defensive first pull of the trigger, a defensive pull. So that's pretty cool that it has that. I like it. Now, let's talk about my test. Now, first of all, I digress. I believe I went over all the specs. It takes down just like your, similar to your Glocks. I know people like to compare takedowns and other pistols to Glocks, but sorry kids, that's the majority of what people can familiarize with. So that's why people constantly, consistently refer to a comparison with a Glock. Now, I'm sorry, I apologize, but Taurus did take that takedown and applied it to their G2C. You can see the takedown levers are similar location and style as your Glock 19 series, Glock 17 in all your Glock models. So let's take it down first. Make sure your weapon is clear, no magazine, nothing in the chamber. Squeeze the trigger, pull it back a little bit. Pull both tabs down simultaneously on both sides, and you can separate your frame from your slide. The spring is a dual captive recoil spring. The rod is a polymer rod. Okay, people have a big thing about that, like, oh, it's polymer. Well, Glocks come with polymer guide rods. Okay, I have a CZ P01 Omega. Guess what? Polymer guide rod, and it's not even as robust as this one, so not a big deal. Now the barrel is, like I said, a 3.2 inch barrel. Here's your insides of your slide. You could see a little bit of machine marks, but it's not bad, you guys. It's metal. I mean, it's not bad. But the internals, with it apart, you can see it looks very similar to your Glock series of pistols. So that's the slide. Your little 3.2 inch barrel, nothing special there. The feed ramp is somewhat polished, a lot more so than the rest of the barrel. You have your serial marks, and then you have right here, mine says right here, it's stamped SL5. I don't know what that's in reference to. Maybe you guys can help me out. I don't know. Maybe it means something in Portuguese. I don't know. But anyways, so there's how you take it apart. Reassembly rather, is reverse order, which is, you guys have seen plenty of that. But you just reverse order your frame. Its internals are very similar to the Glock as well. Actually, the rails on here are pretty stout. They're pretty thick for this size, which is good because that adds to structural integrity. But as you can see, trigger bar and all that stuff, nothing to it. So you get your slide and you slide it home. Do a function check and you are good to go. This one isn't clean because I shoot my stuff and I don't baby my stuff. But I just finished, like I said, a little over 800 rounds through this little G2C. This is Taurus's new rendition of the PT-111, not to be confused for a T11 or T1, all you airborne guys out there, but it is their newer version of the PT-111, which is in essence is a very, very similar gun as far as specs, but there's the improvements on this model made off of that series of pistols, in my opinion, is bar none far, far better improvements. For one, and one importantly, the PT-111 series has a safety lockout feature, which was on the right hand side of the pistol, that you came with a little key and you can lock it out, similar to a lot of the South American made firearms. There's even like the Bursas, right? The Bursa BP9 has that, which immediately I took that little key and I threw it. So, which is a great gun as well, but that holds 8+1, this holds 12+1. So I am carrying this one more, admittedly. But that was one feature that the PT-111 had that this G2C does not. The other one was that the blade on the trigger was thinner, and they were having problems, a lot of people, with it breaking. Now, I have heard of maybe one person or one occasion where someone said that theirs had broke, which I don't know what you're doing to break that little dingus. I really don't know. It boggles my mind, unless you're really getting on it, which I don't understand. Have I torture tested this guy? No, I don't need to do that. It's a $170 gun, and it's a beater gun. Do I need to prove to the internet that it's good? I threw it? No, I don't need to do that. You guys know me. But it is good. I ran, what did I run through it? Through what ammo did I use for the 800 plus rounds? I ran Federal brass, Federal aluminum. I've ran Freedom Munitions, Gorilla, and Hornady with a mixture of 115 grain and 124 grain. Now, I did not use steel cased ammo because I don't shoot steel cased ammo. Steel cased ammo is very hard on extractors, and a lot of other firearms. A lot of firearms have problems with shooting steel cased ammo. I just don't use steel cased ammo. It's cheap for a reason. It's cheap to produce, cheap to manufacture, but you know, I'm not going to put regular gasoline in my Harley, you know, but just because it's cheaper. So kind of just use your head. And I did lubricate it, you guys. I did take it apart when it came from the factory, and I did lubricate it because this is my firearm. I'm not sponsored by any channels or any manufacturers, so I have to pay for everything from my guns to my bullets to my range time. So with that in mind, like the average shooter like y'all are, you want to take care of your stuff. And I think that all these plethora of videos about guys who are big YouTube channels take pistols and they're like, well, I didn't lubricate it or anything, straight from the factory. That's teaching a bad way of taking care of firearms as a gun owner. As a respectable gun owner, you're going to teach good things. And especially if you are a big YouTube channel, you want to start the ideology of proper caretaking and maintenance of a firearm. Okay, with that being said, I did lubricate this gun. After 400 rounds, I took apart the slide at the range, wiped it down, applied more lubricant to it, and then kept chugging along. So, and it ran flawlessly. Like I said, there wasn't any malfunctions, there wasn't any failures to feed or failures to extract. That's been my experience with it. So in summary, the Taurus G2C, yeah, it's a good firearm. Now I do carry it appendix, like I said, and this is a holster I purchased for it. I got this Kydex holster from I think I got it from eBay, as a matter of fact, and I got it from a place called Badger State Holsters. Now I think I paid 35 bucks for this. Was I going to go out and get some Incog G-code expensive $80 holster for a sub $200 gun? No, I wasn't. This one works extremely well. It's built tough, you know, it's pretty thick Kydex, and it fits great. It fits in there perfect. Perfect retention. You could adjust it if you want more or less. It has a sweat guard to protect it, and the clip is offset to the right of it and not in the middle of it. That is great for a small gun, because what that does is you put your belt through here and it keeps it at a slight cant, and that's perfect for appendix carry for a gun like this. You want it held right here. You don't want to hold it right here, because with your loaded magazines, it could start to move, especially if you only have one clip. Clip, magazine, clip, magazine. Okay, I digress. So, great American-made company. I just want to share this one thing with you guys. This company, Badger State Holsters, makes the holsters for this. And when I got my order, which they shipped fast with free shipping, they sent me a handwritten letter. It says, Mr. Wright, thank you for purchasing a holster from Badger State Holsters. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact us. Enjoy, Tim and Jen from Badger State Holsters. That's pretty rad that they did that. They didn't have to, but that says a lot about a company that goes to small details like that. And it's the small things, right, guys? So besides the fact that the finish on here did wear, and I did see some rust, it's not a big deal, you guys. It's not a big deal. So that's one con to this gun that I have. But for me, it doesn't do anything for me. That's just cosmetics, and that can be taken care of if it's in the right hands. If you neglect your stuff, well then whose fault is it? I mean, if you just put gas and oil in your car and think it's good to go forever and ever and ever and don't maintain it, you're going to have problems. So that's the only con I do have is the finish on the slide wore a little bit. Nothing a little bit of rattle can spray paint can't take care of. Now the sights, like I said, are plastic injected molded, whatever they are. The aftermarket for parts on this hasn't been really great, but as more people buy these firearms, the aftermarket will increase in aftermarket options. Now this gun, like I said, I did get it for $169.99, but you can find deals on it all the time. One place I do recommend is Palmetto State Armory. They had a deal going on for this G2C, Taurus G2C, and 3 stripped lowers for $299, free shipping. That's pretty awesome. Just recently they had another deal with this firearm for this G2C and a complete lower AR-15 with the MOE, Magpul MOE version of that. $299 shipped as well. Now that's pretty good that they are offering that. So a person coming into the gun community can get a complete lower and a pistol all in the same buy. That's pretty awesome. So like I said, the finish did wear and I did have to spray paint it to fix that. So the other con people do complain about is the trigger, how it's so long. Well, I went into that earlier about that. So the first, I'd say about 4 magazines, I had to adjust my way of firing. Normally when I shoot, I use the, not the tip of my finger, but just slightly towards the pad of my finger. And that gives me a good perch on my trigger, the face of the trigger. On this firearm, because the trigger, because the pull is so far back, I had to adjust. And so what I mean by that, my normal trigger pull would be right here. I had to slide it back like that. So I had to use more of my finger towards the hinge of my finger. I had to use more finger. Now normally that would be no, people wouldn't advocate that because you will tend to jerk your shots to the left, low and left. But with this firearm, because you have such a good grip on it, it just feels, it's more consistent. And I'll show in some video footage of me shooting this, and you can't really tell, but I did adjust my grip for it, and it worked out pretty well. So there's my review of the Taurus G2C. It is a great buy. I can't tell you, it was worth it. I mean, less than $200, you guys. Some guys spend that much in ammo alone. I mean, and this is something that you can throw in your safe, throw in your truck. It's a beater gun. I would definitely recommend this, especially for first-time shooters and first-time permit holders to get acquainted and used to. It's a good gun. It's a good gun. I would definitely recommend this over the notorious Hi-Point, the Ghetto Blaster. Yeah, definitely. That's a blowback design. It's low capacity. It's just, I would never advocate anyone to buy that gun. Some people are like, oh dude, I have one, but whatever. So Taurus G2C, great little gun. I'll roll in footage of me shooting it, and my target, I shot it in between 7 and 10 yards, and then I pushed it out to 25 yards, and it ran like a clock. So pretty good shooter. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's 35 minutes. It's kind of long. But if you stuck around to the end, I appreciate it. I will get more videos out there, you guys. But as you can see, I'm kind of like still trying to figure out where to film and all that jazz. So I'm going to get this video up. And if you can find deals on this, you guys, just get it. Just get it. 200 bucks, and it's a good gun. So take care, you guys. Much love, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.